It's been several days since I finished the treatment of Accutane. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, my dearest and nearest, to support me in this journey, and thank me, who finally decided to address the issue and go through all of this experience. And today, I'd like to share all those facts, stories, and basically my experience with you guys. So, let's start with the history. When I was 11 years old, I had my first pimple, and I felt like a total disaster. I remember that I wore a hood for all the school day that day, and felt like my life was ruined. I thought that was the worst that happened to me. What a sweet summer child I was. And that was not the case. I felt much more in like a couple of years. Basically, I just dealt with this for, 15 years, I think. I came to different doctors, I tried different treatment, and it's been 2022 December when I came to another dermatologist, and we finally decided to try the last resort, Accutane. But before I started, I decided to have a checkup on my body and maybe have some, treatment for the parts that would rather have like chronic illness or, not as healthy as I'd like them to be. Because as you may already know, Accutane is quite a harsh medication that affects I think every cell in your body basically. So I'd rather go through those checkups and treat things that should be treated. Maybe even cavities, because about this later. Okay, so when you start the treatment, and my date was April 22nd, 2024. Firstly, it felt like a blessing. That was a honeymoon. Your skin becomes calmer. You have less oil in it, so you have to wash your hair not as often as you used to. You need to use gentler cleansers, or even water is sufficient for you. Finally! And it was never the case for the last decade. Let's talk about cons. Here's the thing. You feel happier, however, you feel more depressed. Maybe it's not the case for you and you would never face those side effects. It's quite important to not ignore those symptoms and visit your therapist and talk about all this. And generally, try to eliminate the stress in your life and don't be harsh on yourself. And you're enough already, and you just need to go through this. It's okay. But mental issues are not the only thing that you would face. Basically, the most common side effects of this treatment is dry lips, flaky ones, dry skin, eyes, maybe bleedy nose. Yeah, of course, you just need to drink a lot of water, use creams, maybe some eye drops, and I'd recommend oily ones because they're staying for longer. Don't forget SPF and avoid sun as much as possible. And you have some cons during the treatment, but you basically need to face and treat the symptoms. And drink some water, take more fiber, maybe some supplements even, some oil fish, some vitamin D. Maybe you have some additional issues like thyroid or something like this, so you'd rather take some, whatever doctor prescribes you. Maybe some magnesium to calm yourself, to weaken your digestive system. You'll get there if you need to. I think that you need to write a borderline, some fact, some harsh moment when you'd rather not continue the treatment. And as long as this borderline is not crossed, you're free to go, you're good to go, just go on and continue. It's been several days, as I already mentioned. I already feel overall influence on me, on my body, is fading away, and I finally can live my life without as many restrictions as before. However, I'd rather take less, maybe sweets, drink more water, and maybe live a more generally healthier life than before. I'd love those results to continue as long as possible, and I have no idea for how long, for how many weeks, months, or years I will have such remission. I think it's important that also from like psychological part of this, I think you need to embrace yourself, to just accept that sometimes you would have breakouts, and it's not a big deal. I think it's important to work on your self-esteem and generally maybe perfectionism or something else, anxiety maybe, not to connect your mood or anything like mentally to your appearance as much as before. Because I think partially your skin health is related to your stress levels, to your hormone levels. And, by the way, I'd rather not go through this experience again because it was a harsh one. It was challenging. And yeah, I'd rather just continue naturally, like prevent all those breakouts. But we'll see how it goes. And I cannot predict anything really. And I think a part of this like calmness is just accepting your fate. I'm not really sure that's a good idea, but it is okay for me for now. So yeah, I prefer this road. But what I also would like to mention is some lessons I learned through this journey. And the first one I think is kind of controversial, but a good habit can be incorporated in your life through negative notion. And what I mean is, you don't have to imagine like the healthiest person on the planet you would be if you incorporate this habit. You can just imagine or else. For instance, if I don't drink enough water, my liver would shut down or something. So I'd rather not have this liver problem. I'd rather not feel tired, hopeless, helpless. So I want to drink this amount of water, even if I'm tired of it already, even if it's been like 5 months and it's been the same like water and it's boring already. But yeah, I need to do this, so I do this. The second lesson, I think, is like the importance of not rushing things. I'm guilty for expecting fast results. If I don't see it in a day, in a week, in a month, I think it's not worth going through anymore. But this medication works in the long run. So third lesson, I think, is just taking pictures like before and every once in a while to see the results, to mark your like milestones and see the differences. Because on a daily basis, I think it's easy to get used to your appearance and not really like notice the differences. And it's not even about the skin. Maybe you go to the gym, maybe you're trying to learn a new language, so just take some, recordings, for instance, just to see the smallest changes. Also, I think the progress is non-linear, so you can have like fabulous results in 3 weeks and then start breaking out again. And it's important not to freak out on this stage and just keep going, because yeah, that's just the part of the journey. It's non-linear, as most things in our life. Eventually, you'll get there. Just keep going. As already mentioned, trust the process. Of course, set the borderline, which you'd rather not cross. But yeah, keep going. In the moments of doubt, just imagine yourself in 1 year and just imagine that once in a blue moon you decided to stop. Not because of the side effects, not because of anything like logical, but just stopped. You wished you kept going. You wished starting maybe years ago. Yeah, just enjoy the journey. Okay, I think that's it. I hope that you found my advice and experience useful and maybe this video entertaining, who knows. I'd like to read your experience as well, so please leave in the comments your stories and maybe even advice if you have some. And as always, have a nice day, have a great week, and bye.